Please. I've chased her away. Come home, Nneoma. Please.
I forgave you, Obinna. But forgiveness doesn't always mean I come back.
Have you ever watched a man destroy his own home with his own hands and smile while doing it because he thinks he's building something better? That is the story I want to tell you tonight. So come closer to the fire. Let me tell you about Obinna. Obinna was a man who had everything a sensible man prays for, and he did not know it. He had a wife named Nneoma. Nneoma was not a loud woman. She was not the kind of woman who enters a compound and everybody turns. She was the quiet kind, the deep river kind, the kind you only understand when you are thirsty. They married young. He had nothing then. I mean, nothing. He was riding Okada in Enugu, borrowing his brother's helmet, coming home with dust in his teeth, and 10,000 naira folded so tight in his pocket because he was afraid he would fly away. Nneoma was the one who counted that money with him on their small mattress. She was the one who said, Obinna, we will not eat all of this today. We will save, we will build. And she did for 7 years. When Obinna said he wanted to stop riding Okada and start selling fairly used electronics at Coal City, it was Nneoma who sold her mother's gold earrings without telling anyone to give him capital. When his shop burned in the market fire 2 years later, it was Nneoma who did not cry. She cooked that night. She placed food before him and said, what fire takes, hands can rebuild if the heart is still alive. People in their street called her Mama Blessing, even before she had Blessing, because she had the spirit of a mother for everyone. Then Blessing came, their daughter, a child with eyes too large for her face, and a laugh that made even tired men stop and smile. And life, finally, started to be kind. Obina's second shop grew, then a third. Then he became the man who did not just sell televisions, he supplied hotels, he supplied schools. Money came. And when money comes into a house that has known hunger, it tests everyone inside the house. This is where our story really begins. There was a girl who started coming to his shop. Her name was Cassandra. Uh, Cassandra. Cassandra was everything Nneoma was not. When Nneoma was quiet, Cassandra was laughter and perfume. When Nneoma tied her wrapper to go to the market at 5 in the morning, Cassandra wore sleek gowns that hugged her waist and wigs that shone like oil. She spoke English with an accent that she borrowed from Instagram. She called Obinna Chief. Chief Obinna. And she laughed at all his jokes, even the ones that were not funny. She did not want a man who needed saving. She wanted a man who was already made. And Obinna, foolish man, loved how that felt. At first, it was small. She would bring him lunch that he did not need. She would sit in his office and press her knee against his. Then it was late night. Then it was hotel receipts that Nneoma found in his trousers while washing. Nneoma confronted him, not with shouting. That was never her way. One night, after Blessing had slept, she knelt beside him where he sat watching football, and she held his hand. She said, Obinna, my husband, my friend, who is this woman distracting you? Do not forget who held your hand when you had nothing to hold. Do you know what Obinna said? He said, Nneoma, you are too local. You are too controlling. You have become old. He called his wife, who was 34 years old and who had carried his child and his poverty and his dreams on her back, old. From that night, the house divided. Cassandra told him what he wanted to hear. She told him that Nneoma was holding him back, that a big man like him needed a big woman beside him, a woman who could sit with governors, a woman who understood business, a woman who was still hot. And Obinna believed her. Because sometimes a man does not leave his home because his home is bad. He leaves because someone outside makes him feel like a king for doing nothing. So Obinna did the unthinkable. In Igbo land, we do not rush to divorce, but he did. He called elders. He said Nneoma was disrespectful. He said she nagged him. He said they had outgrown each other. His own mother cried and begged him. She said, Obinna, you want to throw away diamond to pick stone. He did not listen. He rented a small self contained for Nneoma and Blessing on the outskirts of town. He gave her some money. He thought he was being generous. He thought he was being fair. And within 3 months, he married Cassandra in a lavish wedding that was all over Facebook. White wedding, champagne, Cassandra in a dress that glittered like fish scales. On his wedding day to Cassandra, Nneoma did not curse him. She sat in that small room with her daughter on her lap and she prayed. She prayed for peace. And Blessing, who was only 6, asked her, Mama, why is Papa marrying another auntie? And Nneoma had no answer that would not break her child. Now, my listener, this is where you think you know how the story goes. You think Cassandra will show her true color immediately. But life is not always that fast. Sometimes betrayal is patient. For the first year, Cassandra was perfect. She was the wife Obinna showed off. She followed him to business dinners. She posted their life on social media. My king, my chief, my odogu. People envied him. And every time people envied him, he felt he had made the right decision. But slowly, small things began to happen. Cassandra did not like Blessing visiting. She said the child scattered her living room. She said the child was too village. So Blessing stopped coming. Cassandra did not like Obinna sending money to Nneoma. She said, that woman is already your past. Why are you feeding your past? So the money reduced from 50,000 to 20, from 20 to nothing. Cassandra did not know how to manage money. She knew how to spend it. When Obinna gave her money to pay suppliers, she would pay half and use half to buy Brazilian hair and a new iPhone. When he complained, she would cry and accuse him of being stingy like his former wife taught him. And worst of all, Cassandra did not love him. Not truly. She loved what he provided. Obinna started to notice, but pride is a stubborn thing. Pride will tell you to keep chewing even when you know the meat is rotten, just so people do not see you spit it out. Then the second year came and the storm broke. One of Obinna's major clients, a big hotel chain in Asaba, cancelled a contract worth 12 million naira. Why? Because Cassandra had gone behind his back to tell them that if they wanted to continue working with Obinna, they had to give her a commission. They found it insulting. They left. Then his shop manager at Ogi Road ran away with 3 million naira. How? Because Cassandra had fired the old manager that Nneoma had personally trained, a loyal man from their village, and replaced him with her cousin who did not know how to keep records. Debts started piling. Cassandra started complaining that Obinna was no longer the rich man she married. She started staying out late. She started answering calls outside and smiling in a way that made Obinna's stomach turn. One evening, Obinna came home early. He had not been feeling well. His chest was tight, stress. He opened the door to his own bedroom and he found Cassandra on a video call. She was in lingerie that he had bought for her. She was laughing with another man. She said, Baby, do not worry. This my husband is finished. I am just managing him until I secure my own shop. Once I collect his last money, I will leave him. He is not my class. Obinna stood there. And in that moment, all the noise in his head went silent. He thought of Nneoma, how she never raised her voice even when he was wrong, how she rubbed his feet when he came back from the market with no sales, how she prayed for him every morning at 4 a.m. when he was still snoring, how she looked at him not as a chief, not as an odogu, but as Obinna, her husband, her friend. He chased Cassandra out that night. She did not even beg much. She packed her wigs, her bags, her shoes that cost more than Neoma's rent for a year, and she left with a laugh. She said, You will regret ever touching a queen like me. Obinna sat alone in that big house that now smelled only of her perfume, and for the first time in 2 years, he cried like a child. In the morning, he went to find Nneoma. He expected to find her broken. He expected to find her waiting. He thought he would say sorry and she would run into his arms because, in his mind, where else would she go? But life had moved. When he got to that self contained, a neighbor told him Nneoma had moved. He called her number. It was switched off. He went to his mother. His mother said, You are looking for Nneoma. Nneoma that you threw away. She left Enugu 6 months ago. She is in Abuja now. Abuja. Obinna was shocked. Nneoma had never even wanted to travel. He borrowed money. Yes, borrowed and traveled to Abuja. He found the address his mother gave him. It was a small but neat tailoring shop, and inside that shop, there she was, Nneoma. But not the Nneoma he left. This Nneoma glowed. Her hair was neat. Her skin was fresh. She wore a simple but beautiful Ankara dress that she had made herself. She was laughing with a customer. And Blessing, his Blessing, was sitting at the corner doing her homework in a clean school uniform, looking healthy and bright. Obinna stood at the door and could not speak. Nneoma saw him. Her smile faded, but she did not shout. She said, "Welcome, Obinna." He knelt down, right there in front of customers. This big man, who once called himself chief, knelt down in that small shop and started begging. He said, "Nneoma, I was a fool. I was blind. I left gold to chase glitter. Please forgive me. I have chased that woman away. Come home. Come back home." Blessing ran to him. She hugged him. She had missed her father. But Nneoma did not hug him. She stood there with tears in her eyes and she said the words that broke him forever. She said, "Obinna, I prayed for you every day for 2 years. I prayed that God would open your eyes, but I also prayed that God would heal my heart, and God did. I forgive you, Obinna. I truly forgive you from my heart. But I cannot come back to you." He looked up shocked. He said, "Why? Why?" She said, "Because forgiveness does not always mean return. Because I cannot raise my daughter in a house where she will learn that love is something a man can throw away and pick back up whenever he wants. Because the Neoma you left died in that self contained, I had to bury her myself. The woman standing before you now is different. She loves herself now, and she loves peace more than she loves being called a wife." Obinna wept. He begged. He offered money. He offered to buy her a bigger shop. But Neoma shook her head. She said, "The best thing you can do now, Obinna, is be a good father to Blessing. That is all I need from you." Obinna returned to Enugu empty, truly empty. His business never fully recovered. He still sells electronics, but from one small shop now. Cassandra opened a boutique with the money she took from him and never spoke to him again. And Neoma's tailoring business in Abuja grew. She now has 3 machines and 2 apprentices. She is not rich, but she is peaceful. She's not married again yet. She says she's taking her time. But when she laughs, her whole body laughs. And Blessing is top of her class. So you see, my listener, this story is not just about a man who chose the wrong wife. It is about how sometimes we think the grass is greener on the other side, but it is only greener because it is fake. It is about how a woman who truly loves you will not always fight loudly. Sometimes her love is in the food she cooks when you have failed, in the silence she keeps to protect your pride, in the prayers she says when you are not worthy of prayer. And if you are not careful, you will mistake her quiet for weakness. Obinna thought choosing his new wife was the right decision because she made him feel big. He did not realize that Neoma made him feel safe, and safe is more valuable than big. And so he lost the one person who truly loved him. Not because she stopped loving him, but because he taught her how to live without him. If there is someone in your life who loves you truly, quietly, consistently, do not wait until you lose them to realize their value. Because some people, once they leave, they forgive you, but they never come back. The fire is getting low now. But remember the story when you are faced with a choice between glitter and gold? My name is Jam Jam, and this was our story for tonight. If this story touched your heart, stay with me. There are many more stories by this fire.